What's going on, everyone? So Spencer Dinwiddie had a bit of a disappointing season for the Lakers. And a lot of it I just don't necessarily blame him for. There are some things that, yes, like I think he needed to be more assertive, be more aggressive at times. I thought he kind of was a lot more passive. But that was also his role, right? Spencer Dinwiddie even recently spoke on his role and said that he felt that he played it perfectly from what he was asked for. And that's why I don't really blame Spencer Dinwiddie a lot for just kind of the lackluster performances at times on the Lakers, right? I believe that Darvin Ham did a terrible job of utilizing and putting players in the best positions possible. I said it all season with Christian Wood. I said it all season with Rui Hachimura. And I don't think it's a coincidence that when Spencer Dinwiddie came, you saw that same problem. Because Spencer Dinwiddie was literally everything we needed outside of like the center standpoint. We needed some size, some athleticism out on the perimeter. Spencer Dinwiddie provides that. We needed some form of defense out on the perimeter. Spencer Dinwiddie provided that. We needed some playmaking and scoring off the bench. Spencer Dinwiddie provided that. He literally was the perfect type of player that the Lakers desperately needed. And instead, he just became, we might as well have gotten a Joe Harris or a Daniel House. He just stood in the corner all game, just jacking up threes. And again, there was times where he did have the ball, where he did have opportunities to be aggressive, and he didn't. And that is kind of where I knock him for. But we also don't know if he was told not to do that, right? We also don't know what he was, coached to do. And he doesn't want to rock the boat. He wants to just kind of fit in and try to, help this team in any way he can. I don't think it's a coincidence if you want an example, I don't think it's a coincidence that the one game that he exploded for and had 26-9 or something like that was the only game he got to be the primary playmaker, right? He played the D'Lo role that game. And when he played the D'Lo role that game, he was dominant. And it's the only game we won when D'Lo didn't play. Literally, the only game we won, D'Lo didn't play, right? Because that's what Spencer Dinwiddie is best at, being the playmaker, being on ball. And we needed that, though. LeBron James and D'Angelo Russell would go to the bench, and we had zero playmaking, right? Darvin Ham had this obsession with having Austin Reeves do it when we saw all season he couldn't. Every time LeBron and D'Lo went to the bench and Austin Reeves was the primary ball handler, our offense just went to a complete dead stop. Couldn't score, couldn't generate, nothing. Because he's not a playmaker. Austin Reeves can make the occasional play. He can find the cutter. He can find the open man. But putting the ball in his hands and having him generate and create something out of nothing, he just can't. He didn't handle ball pressure well. He got tunnel vision a lot. There was so many things that just were terrible. But you didn't really hear me complain about it early in the season because we didn't really have any other options, right? Like Gabe Vincent was hurt and LeBron and D'Lo, you needed to get them rest, although I thought he should have done a better job of staggering them. But nonetheless, it was like, okay, I get what you're trying to do. We don't really have very many other options. Okay. Well, as soon as Spencer Dinwiddie came, we had other options. As soon as Spencer Dinwiddie came, that should have been the end of Austin Reeves as the sole ball handler. I'm not saying you can't have Austin Reeves have the ball in his hands ever. No, but I'm saying there shouldn't have been a reason to have him for 10, 15 minutes a game being the primary guy when LeBron and D'Lo go to the bench when you have somebody that is proven and better at it. It just made zero sense. So I'm very hopeful that Spencer Dinwiddie sticks around, right? Spencer Dinwiddie was just recently with Maxwell Lewis and a shooting coach working on his game, working on a craft. He was in Lakers shorts, right? He's expressed repeatedly how much he wanted to be a Laker. He's hoping he could stick around, how he loves the Lakers. It's always been his dream. I really do. I think one, we're probably going to need him, right? Because the Lakers are going to go make that big push, that big swing on some type of free agent or some type of star, right? They're going to go try to get a guy in a Donovan Mitchell or a Trae Young or a DeJounte Murray, right? So chances are the Lakers are going to need able bodies that can play multiple positions, take on multiple roles, probably going to need some secondary playmaking, especially off the bench. So Spencer Dinwiddie is a guy that I could absolutely see easily come in, slot in, and be a plug-and-play guy for the Lakers and provide some of that playmaking, right? So say you trade for DeJounte Murray, right? I think that you could easily have Spencer Dinwiddie come in and be that primary playmaker off the bench when Murray or LeBron's on the bench, right? And I do think that he's a guy that should only improve and get better playing off ball, right? And I do think with a new coach that understands the skill set and that Spencer Dinwiddie has, I think that he'll be better maximized to have a bigger impact for the Lakers, right? Like even just as like a scoring option off the bench, right? Like if like even this year, if I was Darvin Ham, not only would I have had the ball in his hands when LeBron and D'Lo were off the bench, I also would have told him, like, I want you to be ultra aggressive. I mean, this is a guy that go get you 19 a game, 20 a game, right? This is a guy that has had seasons where he's averaged nearly, 20 and 9. Like, this is a guy that can do so many things on the basketball court. Like, and we needed that. So why not give him the basketball and just let him go to work? It's not like we had a bunch of other options off the bench and stuff. Like, again, like, put him in a position to best utilize his skill sets. And I think if you get a proper coach that understands that and sees the value in Spencer Dinwiddie, I do think that he can have a big role. Again, I'm not saying you have to run every possession through him and he has to average 19 a game or anything. No, nothing like that. But to me, it's inexcusable that Spencer Dinwiddie couldn't get you 10 points and 5 assists game in and game out. And then have the occasional, 20-point game or whatever. And you probably win all those games. But there should have never been a game where Spencer Dinwiddie had 3 points or whatever. I mean, if you put him in position to have success, this guy can go get you buckets. Right? This guy can go make plays. And he's very versatile. And I think if you can convince him to stay, which I don't think there's going to be a ton of suitors. Right? You're seeing the problem with D'Angelo Russell and all the, like even Trey, the star that he is, right? There's all the reports that he has a limited market because most teams don't need a playmaker. Most teams don't need a point guard. Most teams don't need a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie. Most teams already have that, or they're getting that, or they're about to get it. And it's like, okay, well, we're a young team that's tanking and rebuilding. We don't really need a Spencer Dinwiddie. And Spencer Dinwiddie's kind of built this reputation in the last like 2 years, year and a half. So I think his market's going to be incredibly thin. He's probably looking at a vet minimum regardless. Kind of take the approach that we've seen many others do. Even like a Malik Monk where, you stick around with the Lakers, you take the contract, you have a good season. And then if you want to go get the bag elsewhere, go get the bag elsewhere. Maybe you get the bag with the Lakers, right? If you're that good. He's still a guy that I think has a ton of value. He's a guy that I think can really make an impact on the Lakers roster. He's a guy that we saw when given the opportunity. I don't think it's a coincidence that every time he was put in the position to have success and actually playing the role that he's best at, he had success. Right? It's a crazy concept. You put the ball in his hands, you let him go make some plays and be aggressive, the guy will go get you 12 and 6. Right? It's crazy that happens every time that Darvin Ham did it. But then Darvin Ham would just stop doing it. It was just like what are we doing here? Right? Again, I get, when he's on the court with LeBron and D'Lo and all that stuff, it's kind of hard to have him be the primary ball handler. Right? But I also think you could have done it in time, especially with how good D'Lo was shooting the basketball. You could have had Spencer Dinwiddie be on ball and had D'Lo be off ball and allowed Spencer Dinwiddie to kind of generate some offense and have LeBron as a cutter and Anthony Davis and, had D'Lo out on the spot. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie would have just been slicing and dicing teams. I think he would have been getting buckets. I think he would have been getting assists. I think he could have done a lot. And if we end up losing D'Lo or trading D'Lo or whatever, Spencer Dinwiddie's a guy that could fill that role. It's very similar in the sense of like, he's not the shooter that D'Lo is, but he is very much the same mold of playmaking and his ability to kind of run an offense and then also just go get buckets. He's also more athletic and better defensive player. So I think that there are definitely some pros and cons either way, but I like the idea of Spence sticking around. And I think that he can really make a name for the Lakers with the Lakers. Right? I just think he just didn't get the opportunity and role that he should have gotten, which is just so crazy to me because again, the Lakers needed it. The Lakers absolutely needed it. We needed that playmaker and scorer off the bench. He was that. And it's just like, why didn't you utilize it? It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating. But the past is the past, right? What's done is done. And, I think you give Spence the proper opportunity. Let him go to work. Right? Put him in the proper position. You know what his skill set is. You know what he can do. Put him in position to succeed. And I think he'll succeed. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of keeping Spencer Dinwiddie? Do you think, no, you got to let him go? Bring somebody else and give somebody else a look. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.